Wait, did we?
We did the same. Merry Christmas, everybody. Welcome to the Christmas Countdown Show. My name is Eric Peterson, and I'm here with my good buddy, Danny Jordan. And we just did choreography that was unplanned.
Unrehearsed.
We were truly in sync right now.
We really were. I was JC. You were Justin.
That's right, yeah.
We were in sync.
That's right.
Thank you.
Welcome, folks, to the Christmas Countdown Show. This is episode 312, or episode 12 of season 3, if you will, as it were.
As it were.
And today we are here, Eric and Danny. We got Chris Sisley. We got John Ewing. They're both here. They are helping us out. We are happy that you're with us. We are happy that you're checking us out. Today we are going to be talking about, this is a good one, because today, if you're listening to this on Drop Day, Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thanksgiving to everyone who celebrates.
Yes.
I think it's called Remembrance Day up in Canada. No, Remembrance Day is Veterans Day in Canada.
Okay.
But they do their Thanksgiving, I think, on a different day.
Sure.
Yeah, everyone sort of does
But
it at
this is
different
American
times.
Thanksgiving Day.
It
We're
is true.
Americans,
Yes.
so we're going to celebrate
We are.
Thanksgiving today. So happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Thank you so much for checking us out. And in fact, we are going to be doing, our list is going to be the top 5 things that we are thankful for this year. Yes. So this is going to be good. Hopefully we'll have some emotions, which will be good. And we are now, which is exciting. We've been leading up to this. We said this on the last episode, that post-Thanksgiving, we are in it.
We are in it. Everybody is in it.
Officially, I realized my clap was kind of loud. It may have sounded like a gunshot.
Scared me for a second.
Gunshot in the room.
I just flip
Do you
over
know-
the back of the chair.
Did you know that I clap extremely loud?
Yes.
And have I talked about this when I've been at
About,
the
I think, in
theater?
a past episode, or maybe it was a bonus episode.
Yeah, people will give me dirty looks when I clap in the theater because
That is,
I mean that's a loud
really
clap.
just like.
And people are like, "Jeez, Louise."
But we talked about the people on stage.
They appreciate it.
They appreciate
And
that.
I'm doing it for them.
That's who we're doing it for.
That's
I
what
mean,
it's
it's
really
an
about.
exchange of energy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Danny, I see that you're wearing your I'm in my Christmas era sweatshirt, which is
I
very
am.
cool, which is some of our merch. Make sure you check out our merch
Yes.
store. I'm also wearing some of our merch, which is great.
I love yours.
Mine is the list of all of the reindeers. I was going to say all the Rudolphs, but all of the reindeer.
Well, he's one of them.
He is
all
one
of the
them.
Rudolphs
Yes,
are on there.
That's true. All of them are on here. But it made me think. I went to go see the Taylor Swift movie the other day.
How was that?
It was fun. I got to say, I went to an 8:20 showing.
But not by yourself.
Not by
clarify.
myself.
Yeah. Okay.
I went with Lisa and Miles and Sophie and her friends Luna and Felix.
Okay.
And Miles was very excited. He had on a couple of Taylor Swift
the
bracelets,
friendship
friendship
thing,
bracelets. Because he considers himself a little Swiftie.
Is
which
he
very
really?
fun. Yeah, he loves it. He doesn't know it nearly as much as Sophie does. Sophie is a full-fledged Swiftie.
Okay.
But I gotta say, it was really fun to go to it. So Lisa and Sophie went to the actual concert at SoFi Stadium.
Okay.
And the movie is actually of the night that they went.
Oh, that's
which is
amazing.
kind of cool. So like this movie will live, forever, and they'll be able to say like we were at that
were there.
concert, which
That's
is cool.
really cool.
But it's really well produced. Clearly, you can see why Taylor Swift is just such a big deal. I mean,
Yeah.
she really is such a pro. The movie is 3 hours long.
Oh my
So it's very long. Miles fell asleep about probably an hour into it. So I spent the last 2 hours of it like supporting his head on my shoulder. And I couldn't really like dance along like I wanted to.
Right.
But Sophie and her friend Luna were doing that. And all of the other people in the theater were as well. People brought like light up sticks. They were like bouncing up and down in their chairs. Some people were standing. They were definitely singing along the whole time.
That's
And I mean,
awesome.
just like super emotive singing along, just like, oh my God, like just like so emotional and like using their arms and their whole bodies to sing. It was awesome. And it was so cool to see my daughter just be like so passionate about something. I mean, she's passionate about a lot of stuff, but really seeing her, and especially because she was with her best friend Luna,
Yeah.
like they were just living their best life. Like truly that phrase, living your best
Yeah.
life. And to see them do that and to sort of just like watch them watch the movie is what was so enjoyable about it. But it was very cool.
That's amazing. I did see a clip of Taylor over the weekend that I think
Yeah.
a lot of people probably saw of her
yeah.
down in Argentina.
Buenos Aires, yeah.
Yeah, she called out Travis Kelce.
That guy from the Chiefs who
yeah,
comes straight
Connor is
home
the boy
to me.
from the Chiefs. And I think the best part of it, now this is becoming like a Taylor Swift
That's right.
fan podcast
She's so
very
big.
quickly. But she does have some great Christmas music. But I loved the reaction of her dancers because you could tell that they didn't know.
They didn't know she was gonna say
about,
that,
Like,
yeah.
they finished the movie and they all kind of look at her
Oh,
like, "Whoa,
okay.
she went there." And then somebody was filming because cameras are everywhere
Yeah.
now. Was filming Travis standing with his dad.
Yeah.
And his dad like just started losing and high fiving him and all that sort of stuff. It's funny how their relationship is just sort of like captivated
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
It
It's kinda
is
like
interesting.
a podcast, I think.
Especially because she's been in many very high profile relationships, which
Right.
is sort of like a little bit of her thing. You know, it's not her whole thing. I don't want to, relegate her down to
Yeah.
just her relationships, but it is a part of her thing is that she's dated a lot of famous people and then writes good songs about them when
Yeah.
she's in love, and then when they break up, she writes songs about how she hates them.
Right.
Which is great, and use your life for art.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's like, I think part of it is that NFL factor to it, that, the NFL is huge in America. And the fact that she's dating an NFL, not just an NFL player, but one of the faces
Superstar,
of
yeah.
the NFL.
Who seems like very
Seems like a
all-American
great guy.
and
Yeah,
like
real good
super down to earth and accessible and funny. And
Yeah.
has a great relationship with his brother, obviously, and his folks.
Their
Like,
podcast,
yeah. And so it's like you have like the two biggest entities
Yeah.
who are in their prime, the NFL and Taylor Swift,
Yeah.
like coming together. It's like both worlds.
yeah.
It's like the perfect crossover.
Yes.
We talk about co-viewing. Like
Yeah.
Taylor and Travis have turned like football and music into like a co-viewing
Everybody
experience.
does it.
I'm really, as we get into the holidays, like I wonder if there's going to be something holiday related that if they do.
I was saying to Sophie that I was like, I wish that Taylor Swift would do one of those things where like we don't know that she's coming out with a Christmas album, but just like all of a sudden on a random Tuesday they're like, Taylor Swift dropped 15 Christmas tracks, and you're like, oh my god,
That would be
that
awesome.
would be amazing. You know that Jason Kelsey, Travis Kelsey's brother,
Right.
who plays for the Eagles, he has a Christmas album. Do you know
Oh,
about
that's
this?
right.
Him and the offensive line
Yes.
from the Eagles recorded a Christmas album last year. And I don't know if they did a second one, but I've been getting more like videos of their recording of that album has
Yeah.
been coming into my feed. So I don't know if it's just recycling. But I think that's so fun because he is not really that good of a singer. So it's a lot of like, Merry Christmas, baby.
Oh,
you know,
that's
like all very low, and he's not showing off any kind of punch.
Right. Wouldn't it be amazing if they did a collab with
Taylor Swift, yeah.
And they're like her background singers. It's like Taylor and the Eagles
Jason Kelsey
offensive
and
line just dancing behind her.
That's so good.
That'd be incredible. But yeah, if you want to get your hand on some like Taylor inspired merch, we have this I'm in my Christmas era hoodie, which I'm wearing. It also comes in a sweatshirt. I feel like it's all where we're at right now. We are all in our Christmas era, and if you want to rep that and shout it out from the rooftops, you can grab it at ChristmasCountdownShow.com. And while you're there, why don't you go over to our social media? You can follow us at Christmas Countdown Show on TikTok, Instagram, Threads, and we are also at Xmas Pod on the X. And if you want to watch these episodes and see this awesome merch we're talking about, go to youtube.com/Countdown Network, and you can see full episodes of our show and Disney Countdown and soon Theater Countdown. I'm sure will be up on there too, which is super, super fun. And while you're doing all that, why not review the show?
You should.
Leave us a review. Let us know what you like. And heck, we've said this before. If you don't like it,
Let us
if you're
know.
like, why did you commit 7 minutes of a Christmas podcast to Taylor Swift and Travis Kelsey?
Let
Post
us
it.
know.
We will share that with the
right.
world. So you can rate and review. You can review on Apple, and you can leave a rating on Spotify as well. And if you want to leave a review, just email that to us, kringle@christmascountdownshow.com.
I love our email address, by the way.
Yeah,
It's just good.
I
I'm
do
just saying.
too. It feels, what's funny is because like when you create an email address, like you have to assign a name to it.
Yeah.
So like when I created it, it's first name Chris.
Sure.
Last name Kringle. We get emails all the time. It's like, hey, Chris.
Hey, Chris.
With a K. All the time. All the time.
That's funny.
But speaking of reviews, we have one
Ooh.
to share with the folks.
Read it to us.
Now, this is 2 reviews in a row where the subject has been those 5
Extra shiny.
extra shiny star on top of your tree, golden stars.
stars, I love that.
And this one comes to us from a username Mfluet, Mfluet.
Meflute.
Mifluet.
Mefluet.
Mifluet.
Mefluet.
Mifluet.
Maybe they are from French Canada.
Maybe they are. Let us know. Their review is short and sweet.
Okay.
It is, I love this show. It's the best Christmas podcast I've ever heard! Exclamation point.
Tell your friends, folks.
You want your bells jingled.
You heard it here first.
Listen to this.
That's right.
Yeah, thank you, Influent, for that very, very kind review.
Very nice.
We appreciate that. And speaking of, our close friends and family, we have some new Patreon
We
peeps to
do
shout out.
indeed. You can definitely follow us on Patreon.
Yep.
Sign up. You get a bunch of bonus content. You get to join the Facebook group, the Christmas Crew, very active Facebook group. And if you join, our new policy as of this past year is that we're going to shout you out. So these are a few new people we got.
And we're going to write you a song.
That's right. Terrence, Merry Christmas. Thanks for joining the Patreon. And Melody from Manchester, England.
Yeah.
I don't know what accent I did there. Manchester, England.
It's kind of Irish. Whenever I hear Manchester, England, I think of one thing and one thing alone.
What's that?
Manchester, England, England.
What's that?
From Hair. The musical.
yeah.
Whenever I see Manchester, I don't think of soccer.
You don't think of
I don't
Manchester
think of
United?
Man U.
No.
I think of that line from
There you
Hair,
go.
which
Yeah.
I've only seen once.
I did Hair.
Did you?
I did. I played Burger.
At where?
I
Where'd you
did it at the Barn Theater.
Oh, you love that place.
Yeah.
You were just there recently.
I was there doing Margaritaville there.
How was that? We haven't talked about
It was great.
Yeah.
It was super fun. I loved directing, which was fun. It was fun to be in the show as well, especially doing, I'd done it, from its very first reading all the way up through Broadway. And now I was doing it with a bunch of college kids that were just discovering Jimmy Buffett and just discovering the show. So it was very cool to sort of introduce it to a new generation of people. And
Yeah. Was that full circle? Because you did shows at the Barn when you were young.
Yep.
Right?
Well, not younger, but right out of school. It was where my first professional job was. It's where I met Lisa. So it was awesome. And it was a little done with a heavy heart because Jimmy passed right while we were doing it. So that was kind of an interesting thing to happen, to be celebrating his music, but also me being slightly personally sad, not slightly, but very personally sad that, he had passed.
Because he would come to the show, right?
Oh, yeah.
When you guys
we
were
did it
opening
on Broadway,
yeah.
he came every other week.
And would make surprise appearances.
Yep,
right?
and he'd come out during the curtain call and sing Margaritaville with us, and people would just go nuts. It was so cool, because he wouldn't announce it, but he came enough that people were excited, they knew there was a possibility that Jimmy might be there, and he would just come out, and the crowd would just go nuts. I remember for the closing night performance, we did a thing where there's a moment during the song Volcano when everybody's trying to run off the island in this mass chaos, and there's a moment where my character of Brick and Tully, who's the other main guy, we run on with boxes of vodka and stuff. We're which way to the boat?
The provisions.
The stuff you need. And so that scene, we ran out to be which way to the boat, but Jimmy was between us, and he had 2 margaritas in his hand. And it was just in the middle of the show, so people really were not expecting it.
Yeah.
And we ran out, and we're which way to the boat? And everybody's that's Jimmy, and people freaked out. We had to stop the music because so many people were excited to see him. But
that's
he was
amazing. And he
great,
did
great
Christmas music too. I feel like we don't talk about his Christmas music.
He does, yeah.
enough.
He has a very famous Mele Kalikimaka version.
And Christmas Island, right?
Yep, yeah. He was a great guy.
Yeah.
What people saw of him is exactly what he was in real life. He was so positive. He was so present wherever he was. When he would come into the rooms and work with us, he was just so jovial, and it wasn't a show. You could tell he was truly, we talked in the last episode about cultivating gratefulness and just living your life in the moment. I've never met a person who was just more solidly in the moment and finding joy and letting anything negative just slide right off his shoulders with not a care in the world.
Yeah.
And he was obviously so successful, and I think that his attitude in life really was a big part of that.
100%.
Yeah.
I think you get that vibe from everything, from his music to even going to his restaurants. It just feels like the most casual, chill man. You shared, you talked about this too shall pass.
Yep.
There'll be great times, there'll be hard times, but we can make it through.
Yep.
Let it slide, baby.
It's pretty cool. He said, so Mac McAnally is his main guitar player, who's a country artist of his own,
right?
Accord. But I just saw a thing posted the other day that Mac was saying the last things that Jimmy said to him was basically it's been a heck of a ride. Just keep the party going. Keep the party going. And so they've said that, the band, the Coral Reefer Band, is like, we're going to go out and tour again. And I don't know if they're going to bring in somebody like a Kenny Chesney or something who's, a huge super fan to sort of like fill the place, or if they're going to just sing the songs themselves. I think they're still kind of figuring that out. But I like that Jimmy, in his last moments, didn't have a sense of like, woe is me and like, I'm so sad it's over. He was like, I've had a great time, and I want you guys to continue to have a good time as well, which is cool.
Can we weren't planning on this, but can we just play a little bit of maybe one of Jimmy's Christmas songs right now? What do you think? Christmas Island or Mele Kalikimaka? What do you think?
Let me pull it up here.
All right, we'll pull something up here real quick. I feel like this is a good time to honor him. I think you and I chatted about this not long after he had passed, is like trying to find a way to honor him at some point this season, and this sort of organically happened. We don't have it in our notes here on the phones or on the whiteboards here in the studio, but
what about
like a good time?
What about this one? This one's called Ho 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 and a Bottle of Rum. It's so good.
Pour one out for Jimmy this holiday season, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad we got to do that.
Shark.
Yeah, right. So while we're chatting about theater, I do feel like we need to do a proper check-in. You are in rehearsals for a Christmas musical happening here in LA, Christmas Story the musical. How's it going? How's the show looking? How are you feeling?
Thanks, man. So we are in rehearsals for Christmas Story. It's going to be at the Amundsen Theater, produced by Center Theater Group here in LA. So you can look that up if you want to get tickets. If you live anywhere in Southern California, we would love for you to come to the show. We already have a few of our listeners have told me that they got tickets, which is exciting. Yeah.
That's amazing. And Santa J. Claus told me he wants to come see you too. He's going to make a trip down from the North Pole.
Yeah. It's been going really good. First of all, the show is great. It's such a charming version of Christmas Story. It gives you all of the moments from the movie that you love are musicalized in the show. The only thing that's not in the show that I was telling him, I was like, I wish we had this one moment. I love when little Ralphie has the sort of dream sequence of being blind because of the soap. And he comes in and the parents are like, Ralphie, what happened to you? How did you go blind? And he goes, it was soap poisoning. I love that line. And that's not in the musical.
Right.
But
it is on our website.
It is on our website. That's right. And you can get a merch shirt of that. But no, the show's going really good. The cast is so good. The kid cast, there's like 15 kids in the show. And they do tap dancing and singing and dancing and like a bunch of stuff. It's a very heavy kids show. The kid that we have playing Ralphie is so good. His name's Kai. He's an actor from Chicago. He's actually from the suburbs of Chicago, which is really cool. The west suburbs.
Awesome.
So he's from St. Charles, which is like 2 towns over from where I grew up, which is very cool. He's like I think he does like opera. He's like he's probably 12 years old, but he's like a really, really good voice.
That's amazing.
Good little actor. The kid Henry Witcher, who's playing Randy, I know his mom. She's a Broadway actress, Mary Faber. He's doing a great job. Sabrina Sloan is playing the mom opposite me. She's spectacular. We have this guy named Chris who is playing the narrator, playing the Gene Shepard part.
Right.
And he's been doing the show since 2014, so he knows it really, really well. And we did our first read-through of the show the other day. And when it gets to the end of the show, I'm telling you, this show is going to punch you in the feels so hard.
Really?
It's like a charming show for like 80% of it. You just feel light and like, oh, this is fun. I remember that moment. That's cute. That's fun. And then at the end of the show, it hits you so hard. Like, I'm telling you, it's going to hit you so hard.
Okay.
And he's a big part of that happening. It's been great. Our directors are great. The set is great. I've been having fun as the old man. We did Major Award the other day, which is a big, huge production number with a lot of leg lamps. And I'm holding a leg lamp, and the ensemble are all holding leg lamps. There's a leg lamp kick line.
Oh, amazing.
It's the whole thing. So it's going really well. I'm very, very excited about doing it. I think that people are going to enjoy it. I hope that a lot of people can come see it if they're in California at all. And I was saying to Lisa the other day, I was like, after I do this show, I will have done Elf, Christmas Story, and now I need to do Grinch.
Oh, right.
Next Christmas, I want to find a production of Grinch somewhere and play the Grinch.
You got to make that happen.
Then that'll be like a trifecta of Christmas musical theater.
I didn't know they did a Grinch musical.
There's a
I don't think
very-
I've seen that
A
anymore.
lot of people do it. They do. They've been doing a production at La Jolla for a long time,
Okay.
a lot of years in a row. Or maybe it's the Old Globe. They do it at the Old Globe
Okay.
down in San Diego. But yeah, the Grinch. The Grinch was on Broadway for a little while.
Was it really?
And they did one of those Broadway schedules where they would do like 15 shows a week.
Oh, that's right. Patrick Page
Yep.
played the Grinch.
That's right, yeah.
Who is incredible. He was in Spirited. Oh my gosh, his voice. If you want to just get a taste of Patrick Page's voice, go listen to the Hadestown
Hadestown.
soundtrack. He's like, Songbird.
He sings so low and so full. It's amazing.
It's like, how do you sing with that much gusto,
Yeah.
that low? And and you see his face and you hear the voice and you're like, it works.
Yep.
It is absolutely perfect. Well, I'm so excited to go see the show, and hopefully, maybe at some point this season we can find a way to maybe
Yeah.
record down there or do
Yeah.
something with the show.
The show was actually asking me about that. So we're going to be talking about that soon, about doing some sort of Christmas countdown, Christmas story crossover event.
Can I dress up like a leg lamp and learn the choreography?
Very possibly.
Oh yes.
Very possibly.
Dream come true.
I'll talk to some people.
Dream come true. I've never tapped in my life,
That's right.
but I've watched a lot of Gene Kelly.
That's
so
all- that's
I
all you
feel like it's either going to go really great or really bad.
That's all you need.
Either way, it'll be entertaining.
Yes.
Well, this feels like a good time for a game. Maybe. What do you
let's
think?
do
You want to do a game? Let's do a
Yeah.
game.
Chris has got a game for us today.
I do. I have a game. We are playing a brand new game to Christmas Countdown. For what show we were doing. I have a brand new game for Christmas Countdown show. This one is called With a Little Help from My Friends. Thank you, Ringo. Please don't make us take that down.
It's very short.
He's listening right now.
That's right.
Have you guys heard the new Beatles song they just released?
I
Yeah. Now and then. Is that what
Now
it's
and
called,
then,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I
pretty
don't know.
cool.
It's all right.
It's not like it's not yesterday, but I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's kind of cool the way that they, used technology to bring essentially a demo tape that John Lennon had
Sure.
made to full fruition.
So I have questions about that.
Yeah.
So they had the demo tape and then they like created orchestrations for it and recorded it present day. So
Yeah.
this isn't all old stuff. It's a mixture
No,
of
it's a
old
mixture
and
of
new.
everything.
Okay.
So, and there's even George Harrison has guitar parts that he recorded. So basically, Lennon had recorded this demo of this song on a little cassette,
yeah.
and it was just him playing the piano. And then, but it was very scratchy and the quality was not great. In the 90s, Paul wanted to like try to make it into like
Okay.
a full Beatles song, but they could never get John's voice and the piano separated because at the time technology didn't allow that. But now they're able to really like separate. This is John's voice. This is the piano.
Wow.
And then they took George Harrison and recorded some guitar tracks.
That's
and-
amazing.
Yeah. So it's kind of cool how they put it together.
So cool. If you haven't checked it out, you can stream it.
And there's a 12-minute like documentary that you can find online of the putting it together.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Love it.
All right, Chris, what do you
I
got
guess
for
we
us?
should play a game, huh?
Yeah.
Let's play a game. It's time once again to test your Disney knowledge. Disney knowledge. It's time once again to test your Christmas knowledge. What makes this game special is that you'll be giving each other clues to get the right answers. Here's how it works. Before we recorded, I separately shared with you both some well-known Christmas-related stuff broken down by categories. I then asked you 3 questions about those things, and your answers will serve as clues to help the other person guess the things I've given you. Keep this in mind. Getting the answer correct isn't as important as giving an answer that will give the other person the
Help.
correct answer.
Okay.
And you both
lean
did very
into
good
that?
with that, by the
Yeah,
way.
I think so.
Yeah, I think I definitely did.
Yeah.
I was like, am I cheating with some of these answers? I don't know. We'll find out shortly.
We'll see.
Well, I famously don't keep scores, so there's no way you could possibly cheat.
That's true. As long as we win, I'm happy.
Everybody wins. That's the way these games work.
Perfect.
Speaking of these games, if you don't understand how this game works, just like all the other ones, you will get it after the first one, I hope. We'll start with Eric. I will read the questions and his answers. Then we'll turn it over to Danny to see if he can guess correctly based on those answers. If you're not able to come up with the correct answers, I will give the correct answers for the 3 questions, and we'll see if that helps a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. I think we're
Either
gonna get
way,
this.
I'll give the correct
Yeah.
answers at the end of each round so we can see what the answers are because they're pretty interesting.
I like this one.
The first category is actors that played secondary characters in Christmas movies.
Ooh,
Love it.
okay.
Love that category.
So I asked Eric, this actor's first major film role was in what classic 1982 comedy movie? Eric said Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Okay.
Moving on. Although this actor earned their professional first name as an infant for their stern look, What is their birth name? And Eric said, Juror.
Sure.
That's a good clue.
Okay.
And finally, this actor earned an Emmy nomination for their appearance on Seinfeld. What were they referred to as on the show? And Eric answered, Close Talker.
Close talker. I didn't watch any Seinfeld. No, I didn't
talk
watch.
about that
I
later.
know we need to unpack that. I've always thought I need to go back after living in New York. I feel like I have to go back and
Just as a
and-
person, you need to watch it.
I know. Okay, juror. So these are. So I have to guess what character this person.
You have to
played.
guess the actor.
I have to guess the actor.
Yes.
Juror. Like as in
The
J E
Fast
R.
Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah.
Or at least Eric said that.
Right.
And he was a close talker. And none of these answers are confirmed yet.
Okay.
But those are the ones that he
Some
gave.
might be right, some might be wrong.
Okay. Close talker. Oh man, juror. That one's throwing me because I feel like that you're really trying to get me somewhere with that one.
Yeah.
Sure am.
Like manager,
Sure am.
like manager, maybe or
Do you know many people
not.
named manager?
manager. Oh,
Read him what that second question
yeah,
is.
yeah. Let me hear the second question.
Second question again. Although this actor earned their professional first name as an infant for their stern look, what is their birth name? Now remember, they don't have to be correct answers. They have to
Right.
lead you to the correct answer.
Right. So like Jermaine, or it can't be
They have a stern look.
a stern
is
look.
what got them their professional name, which is
Right.
the name you're trying to get to.
Right. Oh my gosh. I'm sure there are people who are listening right now who are losing their
It's
minds.
Deafening. It's deafening.
Are they screaming at me right now? Juror. I don't know why. The Jermaine.
Well, let me help you out then. I will tell you that Fast Times at Ridgemont High is correct, and
Okay.
so is Close Talker.
Correct.
And I will
Okay.
tell you that the correct answer, although it will probably not help you, his first name was Edward.
Edward.
That's not helpful.
That's not helpful at all.
Not
Remove
helpful.
that from your mind.
Okay.
Juror is way more helpful.
Way more helpful.
Are we saying juror or juror?
Juror.
Juror.
Oh,
Like on a
juror.
jury.
Juror.
Oh, I thought you were saying jurors in like Germany or
Juror.
juror.
Juror, like a jury member.
Okay.
It's one of those words
the
that
court.
the more you say it, you're like, is that an actual word?
Yeah.
Juror.
Yeah.
Juror.
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 So a juror.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Secondary Christmas character.
Secondary Christmas characters. Oh my gosh.
Can we give him the
I'm-
film
I-
that the actor's in?
Dude, I can't.
Sure, you can give him the
Can't
film
get
if you
there
want.
right now.
Santa Claus
Yeah,
is the film.
Oh my God.
I know. That's what we were saying.
Judge Reinhold.
That's it.
So that is correct.
Juror. Okay.
Juror.
Now the juror thing. My brain went so far down this juror that I was like Germany, Jerry, juror, manager.
Jermaine.
Jermaine, yeah. But we got there.
Yeah,
This is okay. All right.
See where I
Well,
did there. Okay.
All right. Let's see if I did anything to help you or hinder you.
So I asked Danny these questions. How many sitcoms has this actor starred in that were named after them? He said 1.
Okay.
Next question. In addition to acting, this person has also released numerous albums of what genre? Danny said jazz. And finally, this actor earned their first Primetime Emmy for their portrayal of what character on the hit TV show Big Bang Theory? Danny said Buddy's Papa.
Bob Newhart.
That is correct.
Yeah.
I was like, am I cheating by saying this?
good.
Okay.
Not cheating at all. That's exactly what the game
Okay.
is.
Okay.
That's it. You did it. Great.
Was I?
I will
was
say
one
that
right?
he was on 4 different shows where they used his name. Bob
did they
Newhart
really?
show, Newhart, Bob, and then another show called George and Leo. And George is actually his real name, so that's how they got the 4.
Wow. I did not know
And,
that.
and obviously he's a comedian, so he had comedy albums.
I thought I was like, is it a comedy or spoken word sort of thing? But I was like, I could see him sing a little jazz.
Maybe a little Newhart.
I don't know.
jazz.
Yeah. But we got there.
I like it.
Okay. I got to admit something. I've never seen Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Really?
Oh,
So
it's so
that's
good. Oh,
like-
man.
Great.
That's why, because it's not Keanu Reeves is in that one. It's McConaughey.
No, it's
Sean Penn.
Sean Penn.
Penn, yeah.
See, I've never seen it.
Spicoli. Yeah.
So that's why, like, had I seen it, I think I would have got Judge Reinhold very, very quickly.
Sure. Sure.
They definitely deal with some heavy stuff, but it's super good movie.
Yeah. Great movie.
Okay. Well, I'll check it out. And the next time we play the game, I'll be ready
You'll be more prepared.
for the juror. Yeah.
So here's our next category. I really like this category. This is movies that take place at Christmas but aren't Christmas movies.
Okay.
I wondered what the category was going to be. when I
Yeah.
saw the movie you gave me. Okay.
Okay.
So I asked Eric, in what year was this movie released? And he said 1992.
Okay.
And then I asked him what white-haired actor plays one of the antagonists in this movie. He said Danny DeVito. And lastly, once the lead singer of the new wave group Oingo Boingo, what musician composed the score for this film? And he said Danny Elfman. What do you think?
White-haired. Did you say Dan
White-haired.
Aykroyd?
Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito.
DeVito.
Oh.
I think those are all correct answers or close.
Okay, Danny DeVito takes place during the holidays. You said 1992? Is that what you said?
1992. Yeah.
Okay. 92.
If it helps, I'll say that one answer is incorrect.
Okay. Danny Elfman, Danny DeVito. My name's Danny.
It is.
Born in 82. 92 was a good year. It's not.
Let's all take a step inside Danny's mind.
Yeah, 1992. What was I doing? Playing baseball, probably, most likely. Oh my gosh. The only movies that are coming to mind I know aren't correct. Oh, is it Batman? Batman. Is it
Batman Returns. I'll give it to
Returns? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, it's not forever. Yes.
Was I wrong on the year?
you. You're wrong on the white-haired antagonist. That would be Christopher Walken.
Oh, yeah. The white hair. I was like, I don't think Danny DeVito has white hair in this, but
I was teeing up a Christopher Walken impersonation, but it didn't come to
I
fruition.
see.
But DeVito got me there because he plays the Penguin.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
He
so
does
that,
play it,
that
yeah.
helped me
So it
greatly.
helped. Yeah.
It still works. It still works.
Oh,
There we go.
And I love Batman. I would have been really disappointed in myself if I hadn't gotten that one.
That was good.
Whew. This is really testing my brain right
I like
now.
this.
Yeah, I like this.
So here's the next one. I asked Danny, what legendary actor played the titular character's father figure? And Danny said, bro, I legit have no idea. Snippy McCutterson? And then I asked him, what superstar singer expressed interest in playing the lead role? Danny said, Boy George. And finally, what famous boy band member has an uncredited role as a young boy playing on a slip and slide? Danny said, Joey McIntyre.
Oof.
The first one is really where you should listen to there.
Really? Or are you joking?
Surprisingly, the first one is one you should listen to.
Yeah.
Give me the question and answer to the first one.
What legendary actor played the titular character's father figure? And Danny said, bro, I legit have no idea. Snippy McCutterson.
Snippy McCutterson. Snippy McCutterson.
Think of snow.
Snippy McCutterson. Edward Scissorhands?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Snippy McCutterson.
I was like, I have no idea who
That's
played
so funny.
the Darren.
Who does play the dad on Edward Scissorhands?
I'll go through the answers. That one was Vincent Price.
Oh, yeah.
The superstar singer that expressed interest in playing the lead role was Michael Jackson.
Ooh.
And the famous boy band member that has an uncredited role in the film is Nick Carter.
Whoa. I was between Joey Mack and J.C. Chazet. I was trying to think age-wise who would have been a kid at that point in
Sure,
time.
yeah.
And I
You
was
know,
like,
I got to hang out with Joey McIntyre a little bit.
really? Because he does Broadway,
Yeah, he
right?
does Broadway, yeah.
How was
I,
that?
I have him in my phone.
Really? As
do,
Joey
yeah.
Mack or Joey
I think Joey McIntyre.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
He came to see Margaritaville, and I met him backstage. And then I was at like a benefit that we both performed at. And we were at the after party, and we just like kind of ended up next to each other, and then spent the good majority of the night just hanging out and talking.
gosh.
And he was a real cool guy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was very cool.
Amazing. We'll have to get him on the show.
Yeah. Call him up. All right, give us the next one, Chris.
This is the last category. This is decorations.
Okay.
So I asked
I like
Eric.
some of my answers here.
Me too.
Okay.
These are some good
Can't
answers.
wait to hear yours.
Yeah.
I asked Eric, this decoration originated in Nuremberg, Germany, in what year? And he said 1750.
Okay.
Then I asked, what does the French word that this decoration is named after translate to in English? And he said, metal prison. Which is very clever, by the way.
Very clever.
Okay.
Thank you, Chris.
Okay.
And the last one is, in the early 20th century, this decoration was typically made of lead, but due to the risk of poisoning, it is now made from what material? And he answered plastic.
Okay.
Christmas decoration.
Metal cage?
Metal prison.
Metal
cage.
prison.
No, prison, yeah.
You could go with metal cage though.
Metal
Sure.
prison. What goes into a bird cage? But we don't use bird cages. Oh, no. Couldn't be.
This is just the French translation of the word.
French translation of the word. Okay. So does that mean it's a French decoration?
No, it arrived in Nuremberg, Germany.
Nuremberg, Germany. Okay.
Presumably 1750.
1750. Metal prison.
I'll give you a hint. Metal prison.
Yeah.
Don't think it is metal prison. Metal prison.
Okay.
2 words.
Okay. Oh, okay.
I like the okay because it's like, oh, I don't know what it is, but maybe I can will it if I say that.
I'm really hoping that something clicks in my brain in this moment. Prison could also be called a jail,
Or cage.
or it could be called a cage.
Yeah.
Metal
Do you
prison.
want me to give you the correct answers and see if that maybe helps a little bit?
Yeah.
It's not Nicolas Cage. Know that.
No,
It's not
that's
Nicolas
not a
Cage.
decoration.
The decoration originated in 1610, which
Okay.
is not important.
Pretty close.
The French word that it translates to in English is sparkle, and
Okay.
it's currently made out of PVC.
PVC.
really?
Plastic is fine.
Wow.
PVC.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm really having a tough time with this one. Cage. Prison.
Because I know it, it makes me laugh.
Should I get this one?
When you hear it, you're going to go,
Oh my gosh. I'm just imagining all these people just losing it listening to this episode
what are
right
some
now.
different metals?
Lead, steel,
Keep going.
aluminum,
Keep going.
iron, copper, brass, silver,
No.
gold,
No.
bronze,
What are
titanium,
cans made out of?
What are cans made out of?
aluminum, tin.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then prison.
Oh,
Go ahead, say it.
cell,
Yeah.
tinsel.
Yeah.
That's right.
He got there. Metal prison.
Okay, I got because when I hear prison, I was like jail. I wasn't thinking cell. That was good though. That was a smart one. Okay, we got there.
We got there.
My brain is so exhausted for this game. Yeah.
I asked Danny, the tradition most closely associated with this decoration started in what century? He said the 18th century. I asked him then, this decoration is the floral emblem of what state? He said Miss, capital M-I-S-S, Mississippi. And finally, the decoration's name comes from what Anglo-Saxon words? And he said Missin Toastals.
Wait, say that again.
Well, it's not a real word. Missin Toastals.
Toastals?
I guess so.
Toasteels?
Toestule. Toastal.
Missing
Toastal.
Toastal.
Mistletoe?
That is correct.
Mississippi.
Mississippi? Yeah, okay, that's fair. That was
To
good.
wrap it up, they came out in the first century. Oklahoma and missile and tan. Those are the 2 words that it comes from.
Oh, I wasn't.
Tan
Did you say
became
that
toast.
mistletoe came out in the 1st century?
The first century.
Holy moly.
Been around that long?
Jesus times.
Been a lot of kissing going on.
For real.
Yeah.
That's why we got
Now
overpopulation
we
of
got
the earth.
people. They've been just hanging out on the mistletoe at the holiday season too much since the
Oh
first
my
century.
gosh. That was a good game, Chris.
That was fun.
I like that a lot.
go.
That was very, very good. Should we get to our list?
We should, but
Or
there's
no, we have
one
one other thing.
Yeah, we have 2 things to get
things?
through.
Okay, great.
One, we got a gift that
Okay,
we
great.
meant to open in the last episode. Speaking of sort of like mistletoe and holly and all the things,
Very cool
this
wrapping.
bag that it came in is decorated like that. Now, this, I believe, okay, so this person tried to send this to us last year, and for some reason it got returned.
Okay.
And so they reached out to us and like, I really still want to get this to you guys if I can. And so they sent it again in a very festive bag that'll show all
Yes.
the people who are watching. Do you want to open it up? Yeah, there you go. Now don't shake it because it does sound a little fragile.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I hear it.
Yeah. All right. This is from Melissa, who is in New York. She lives, I think, Uptown. Uptown Funk.
Uptown Funk. That's like our buddy Lanny.
Lanny. All right.
All right, here we go. I love the bag. Where
That bag-
where can one get this bag?
It
Looks
feels
it's
like
a
you can just get to the
bag.
post office. Have you seen that? You just walk into the lobby there while you're waiting in line. They have all these festive little like bags you can and boxes you can ship stuff in. Do you need a
Might need a cutting.
knife or let's see. John, do you have like something we could puncture tape with over there?
Not.
Maybe the pen. Can we just? Do you have a pin? Or excuse me, a pen?
Would this work?
Oh, yeah.
I got a key.
Oh, you do? We got a bottle opener.
Here we go. Listen.
Oh, he's got a key. All right. Popping it open. I didn't know there was a box inside. Otherwise, I would
box
come.
inside of a box.
Actually, you could see the Return Descender label on there.
There we go. Okay,
All
I'm
right,
in.
Here we go.
One more. There we go.
Oh, I'm excited to see what this is. What do you think it is?
It sounds almost like a cowbell.
I was going to say a jingle bell.
But there's two things in here.
Ooh,
Let's read the
two.
card first,
Okay.
as is the way that one should. To Eric and Danny. What's your feeling on actually licking closed an envelope or just closing it so people can open it?
I have very specific thoughts on this. If I am writing the message in your card as I pull up to the front of your house, I will tuck it in so that way you don't feel the wetness on the envelope.
Sure.
If I am prepared and I get it done sooner, I lick it. We've all been there. You're pulling up to like the birthday party or the anniversary or whatever it is, and you're like, just tuck that in there.
I love this. All right, so the card, let's talk about the card first.
Okay, can I see?
It says New York Times Square.
Oh,
It is beautiful. This is
look
like
at
a
that card.
vintage looking card.
my gosh.
Now, you said that they live in New York, so I actually wonder if they got this card. Maybe you can find it other places, but my favorite store in New York, Fine and Dandy. Have I talked about the store Fine and Dandy before?
I think you mentioned it as like places to shop.
Yes,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
do like mostly menswear stuff, but it's like spats and ties and cufflinks and money clips and pocket squares and hats and like cool just
cool.
stuff of like the old school dapper days.
Yeah.
But they have a lot of these very cool. This is like really
Is that
nice
looking
card
downtown or
stock.
uptown?
It's looking downtown, I think.
Yeah.
But it's got like kind of a little bit of like glittery snow in it. Very cool.
Beautiful.
It says, Dear Eric and Danny, Merry Christmas. Here are some ornaments from New York City to add to your fantastically festive fan trees.
Love that.
Thank you so much for your podcast. I love listening and hope you do Christmas Countdown for many, many years. Fondly, Maddie, Mary, Missy in Manhattan.
Oh,
Fantastic. Thank you, Maddie.
Oh, that's so. I think she even wrote like MMM as like the return address on the outside of the box. That's awesome. Are they the same?
I don't know, but let's
Dude.
each open one and
Can
we'll
I?
see.
I'm gonna shake it for the people.
Well, they might be different because mine
Oh.
doesn't have a
Either
jingle
that
jangle
or
to
you've
it.
lost. Wait, you can't hear the bells ringing?
That was good. Okay, we got some bubble wrap.
Ooh, this is fun. Love me some bubble wrap. My kids love bubble wrap too. Okay, jingle jingle. Oh my gosh, Eric.
Ooh. These
Mine
are cool.
is an apple.
Oh, a
but
big
it's
apple.
a jingle bell.
That's really good. And mine is a skyline with the Empire State Building and a taxi cab and the Brooklyn Bridge and the Freedom Tower and the Statue of Liberty.
That's
very,
a beautiful
very cool.
ornament.
I love
Is there a tree on the top of the cab, or what's on? Or is it just?
There is there's
sign.
presents on top of the
Oh,
cab.
cool.
There's a wreath on the Empire State Building, and the Statue of Liberty has a Santa hat on.
That is a beautiful ornament.
Beautiful ornament. Thank you so much, Maddie. That is
Thank you,
so
Maddie.
great. I'm gonna put it on right
That's so kind. If you want to send us an ornament, you can do so. If you just send us an email, kringle@christmascountdownshow.com, or DM us on social media, we can give you our P.O. box, and we love to put the cards on display here in the studio, and then we decorate, as Maddie was saying, the tree that is behind us here, and we're just
now.
filling
She
up.
called it our fan tree.
I know. I never thought of it that way before. We've got
fancy fan tree.
we have got ornaments from Kenya,
Yeah.
Ireland, New York, Memphis, Tennessee.
amazing.
I think we have some from like the mountains in Colorado or something.
Is your Nutcracker up there missing a leg?
No, I just think his string's broken, and they're like full. No, there they are. He's got two.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there they are.
But his leg. Oh, okay. It's his leg is not connected or something.
Well, I never like untied the string, so
Oh,
like it's
I
not
see.
dangling in its full
In
glory.
its full glory. I see.
Yeah. But I do love these trees. It just makes me happy. Like, people go look and like, I think you have one on your side that was like custom made out of wood over there. It says on the back, I think, where it's from. It was some like mountain town somewhere, but
From Margie.
they're from Margie. We love these. They're all different. They don't feel like
Amazing.
They really don't feel like mass produced. They feel
No.
like very custom type things, which
Yes.
is what the Christmas is all about. So thank you,
Thank you,
so
Maddie.
much
That's awesome.
for that. That was so kind. Now, one thing to chat about before we get to
Yes.
our countdown here. It's Thanksgiving weekend, and Hallmark Channel has got their Merry Thanksgiving weekend programming going on starting today. We are getting 7 brand new movies.
Not one.
Not two.
Not
Not
three. Or 4.
or 5.
How about 6?
No, I think I'll give you one more.
7
We're
movies?
going to give you 7 movies, Eric. This weekend is going to be packed with all the merriment starting tonight. And then there's a movie coming out this Sunday, which I'm really, really excited about, called A Biltmore Christmas. When I hear like a place being called Biltmore,
Biltmore.
doesn't it just sound like very fancy, like
Very
a place that's
fancy.
been there for generations?
Like a hotel that's been around for 200 years.
Or like
yeah.
a manor or something like that. So this movie is about Lucy Hardgrove, who is a screenwriter, and she lands the job of a lifetime when she's hired to pen the script for a remake of the beloved holiday movie classic, His Merry Wife. Now, that original was filmed in 1947 at a beautiful historic place called the Biltmore House. And when the head of the studio, I guess, isn't satisfied with the ending, Lucy wrote, because I guess she deviated from the original's feel-good conclusion, he sends Lucy to the Biltmore estate for research and inspo.
Sure.
And look at the imagery. Like, there's a little like sneak peek of what the Biltmore house looks like.
Very fancy.
My definition of house is not what I'm seeing here in this image. This looks like
a lot of houses.
This is an estate. That's like if my house was put together 15 times.
Sure, yeah.
It would be the Biltmore house. But I was looking at this imagery and like there's like period like wardrobe, and I was curious, you as an actor, have you ever done like any period pieces over the years?
Yeah, I've done a few. I did that Coen Brothers movie, Ballad of Buster Scruggs, which was set in kind of the Old West, and that was really cool period costume-wise. I mean, because a lot of the big budget movies, when they go to period stuff, they really undergarments they try to make sort of correctly so that you feel and move differently.
Yeah.
And, like I wore just a basic suit, but I had like a vest and then like different weird pulling shirt kind of things underneath that are not something that we would wear nowadays. But I think I love acting in period stuff because it really does feel like you're doing the kind of classic dress up aspect of being an actor and not just like finding a character, but it really feels like the old days of like, let's be, cops and robbers or princesses in knight in shining armor, and you get to really feel like totally separate from yourself. So I always love when I think it really helps actors when they get to do period stuff.
Oh yeah, and it looks like Lucy in this imagery, like she's just got this beautiful like flowing black dress and like a fur sort of wrap and the jewelry. I appreciate all the detail that it looks like the costume department has gone into to really setting the mood and feeling like you're transported.
Yeah.
In this film, and obviously you and I are throwbacks. We love like classic the 40s, 30s, 40s, 50s, like the music, the style, and it looks like we're gonna get a lot of that
It
in
just
this
works
movie.
so well with Christmas.
It does. Like we talk about this all the time. Is like Christmas music, all these things. We like it to feel old and aged and like rooted in something. And it definitely feels like when she goes back to the Biltmore estate to do this research, we're going to get a lot of that in this film. So that film comes out this Sunday night at 7 Central on Hallmark Channel. And I also want to mention that the Very Merry giveaway is still going on as well. We talked about this earlier in the season that daily there are prizes being given away. If you go to hallmarkchannel.com and just check out their sweepstakes section, the grand prize, speaking of traveling and going to places where there are estates and manors and such, the grand prize is a trip to London and Paris at the holiday season 2024. So go there right now while you're listening to the show. Go on your phone, your computer, wherever. Go to hallmarkchannel.com. Enter the Very Merry giveaway. But another great weekend of incredible content on Hallmark Channel. So make sure you check out Countdown to Christmas, not just this weekend, but all season long. And if you're looking for something to fill your weekdays as well, they got a whole slate of programming
All the time.
It's going to fill your home with merriment this holiday season.
It's great. All right. Should we do the countdown?
Let's do it. Let's
do
get
the
into
countdown.
our feels.
This is good. Okay, here we go, folks.
Taking a breath for this one. Because I feel like I'm going to shed some tears.
We're going to try to pull it together. We're going to
I
try to
believe
hold
in
it
us.
together.
I'm just going to let whatever wants to come out.
All right, so these are the top 5 things that we are thankful for here in this holiday season and especially on Thanksgiving. I feel like mine, again, similar to what we did last episode, I'm thankful for all 5 of them.
Yeah.
So I don't want to necessarily put them as like, I'm most thankful for this, and this I'm second most thankful for.
Yeah.
So just as I said, I'm prefacing that with, I'm equally thankful for all these things.
I think that's great because it's not like we're ranking songs.
No.
Like,
These
to
are
be
just
thankful
5
is
things
that I'm
we are
thankful for,
yes.
and no one thing is more important than
Absolutely.
the other. Yeah.
Okay, my first one on my list here is God and faith. And I am extremely thankful that I have faith in my life, that I have faith in my family, that God is like a part of my life, and that a guiding light and a sort of North Star as I make decisions about how to be a husband, how to be a father, how to be a friend, how to be an employee of a workplace, you hear people sometimes, when they win a Grammy or a big football game or whatever, they're like, thank you, God, thank you, Jesus, But there's a reason that people do that, and we try to keep relatively secular on this show, but at the same time, we also don't shy away from who we are as people. And we've talked before that we're, people of faith,
right?
And we try not to shove it down anybody's throat. But my being a good Midwestern Lutheran boy growing up, my approach to faith was always live a good, positive, joyful, helpful life as you go through the world. And you don't have to shove your faith down anybody's throat. But if you live a way that feels different to people, and they go, "What is it about that guy? He just seems to be happy all the time, and things are going well for him, and he just seems to have a effervescence as he goes through life. What's different about him?" And then when somebody asks you that, and you say, "Well, one of the reasons is I have a belief in God, and I believe that He has good plans for my life, and I'm able to move through the world knowing that." And so that's what we've even told our kids. We're like, you don't have to, you can absolutely be proud of who you are and proud of your faith and what you believe, but you don't have to shove it down people's throat. But if you live in a way that is inspiring to people, people will ask, what is it about you that it's making you like that? And that's an opportunity to talk about your faith. So my number one thing is God and faith.
I love that.
I'm thankful for.
Yeah. I love it. It can be a rock, as we talk about in the last episode, this too shall pass, to have something to hold on to when life feels like it's spinning around you is vital, I think. All right. So the first one I want to share is our show.
Yeah.
And the community that we get to connect with all around the world. It brings a smile to my face. And it just I went to the post office earlier today, and my daughter Emerson is she likes to be a part of this now, because she knows that whenever I go to the post office with her, we're going to walk down the hallway and we're going to take the key, and she knows where the box is now, and there might be a package in there, or there might be a key inside of it where we get to go
a bigger package,
open it up, and I get to tell her, it's really cool. I'm gonna get choked up talking about it, but I get to share with her, this is what I do. And Eric and I had this idea to do this show and talk about something that we love. And there are people around the world that really connect with what we talk about. And so they want to send us little gifts to say thank you, and that this show means something to them. And when I opened up the box this morning, I was by myself, and to see that key in there, and then to see that festive bag, and to think that this person, in New York City somehow found our podcast, and our show connected with that person enough that she wanted to go shopping for ornaments for us and pick us out this card that she probably knew that would connect with us in some way. And then to see the way the community, the Christmas Countdown crew on Facebook, we chatted about this, I think in a bonus episode, about, a member who was battling, breast cancer, and how when she shared that information in the group, it was just every person was we're praying for you. We're thinking about you. We're sending light and energy your way. That this little thing that we just started for fun in our garages, that it's grown into this. And, I talk a lot about the messages we receive about people say this helped me through a tough time. And from a personal standpoint, season 1, I was in a really hard place mentally and emotionally, and work wasn't happening in our industry, and we just had a kid, and you're a parent, you're human, stressing out about the security of the world and the safety of your children and your own well-being and all that sort of stuff. But every week I got to walk out to the garage and sit in front of this microphone and chat with Eric and laugh and cry and reminisce. And it became a light for me in my life, and to know that I could show up and just say what I was feeling and what I was thinking, and that other people connected with it. It helped me a lot. And so I'm just really, really, really grateful for that.
Love it, dude. Love it.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
All right. My next one that I have on my list here is going to be my family.
Yeah.
I think it probably goes without saying, but Danny and I obviously talk about our families a lot. We're both dads. We're both husbands. I think we both really take that responsibility incredibly seriously, and incredibly thankfully that we're able to have families, and that we're able to have, healthy, happy families. You see, obviously going to St. Jude a couple weeks ago really kind of just hammered home that it's not always sunshine and rainbows with your kids, when it comes to health. And we're incredibly blessed and lucky that our kids are alive and are thriving and are healthy. My best friend, Miguel Cervantes, who plays Hamilton on Broadway, his family's gone through a really hard time over the last 5 years. His daughter Adelaide was born with really a lot of major health issues. One of the main ones being she had a bad, very rare case of epilepsy, and she passed away right before her 4th birthday. And so watching my best friend and his wife Kelly, who I consider one of my best friends, and their son Jackson go through that whole experience was challenging, and also makes you appreciative of where you're at. And you try to be supportive, and you can't say like, I know what you're feeling, because you don't know what they're feeling, but all you can be is be a good friend. Little bit of promotion. Kelly, Miguel's wife, has a new book called Normal Broken that just came out actually this past, when you're hearing this, it will have just come out a couple weeks ago. And it's a great book dealing with their family's journey through grief. So if you are dealing with that or have dealt with grief in any kind of way, I definitely recommend it. So you can check that out, Normal Broken by Kelly Cervantes.
Yeah, we'll put the link.
Yeah, we'll put that in the show link. But I'm thankful for my family, that I have 2 kids who I could not be more proud of. I could not be more grateful for, inspired by. I look at them and I just I want them to stop growing up. I'm always like, stop growing. Sophie's 13 now, and she's so tall and long, and she just looks like an adult person. And Miles is 8 and is just like the perfect little boy right now, and he's at such an awesome age. And Lisa, my wife, is so amazing and doing amazing things in her life and career, and things are really taking off for her. And I just feel, all I wanted to be when I was a kid was a dad. I remember being on soccer teams when I was in 4th grade, and not thinking I want to be a professional soccer player, but I was thinking I can't wait to be a suburban dad with tall socks and be coaching my son's soccer team. I remember feeling that when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And always just wanting to be a dad, and be a cheesy dad, to be a overbearing dad, to be a dad that made jokes that his whole family's like, Dad, I all of the parts of being a dad is all I ever really wanted in life. And to, just see that I'm been so blessed with Lisa and Sophie and Miles and my extended family as well, but this is mostly just about my nuclear family. I just feel incredibly blessed and thankful that they are healthy and they're happy and they are in my life.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that. So next for me, I'm going to chat about my career.
Okay.
You know, I look at when I was 18 years old and graduated high school and was like, you know, unfortunately, just because of like, you know, family finances at the time, I had applied to one college. It was a private school. I got in, but we just couldn't afford for me to go, and I didn't qualify for any scholarships, blah, blah, blah. And so I went to a community college, and I remember like thinking as I was sitting there in those classes, learning about this industry that just intrigued me, you know, ever since when I was a kid, like watching my birth father, you know, performing on stage, or when I'd go to CNBC and watch my stepdad, you know, do what he was doing with Tom Snyder and Charles Grodin, all these people. I just remember feeling this electricity when I would be in those spaces of like, wow, how cool to be a part of this.
Yeah.
How cool. And then being like late teens and going, okay, so I can sit here and I can read in a book about how you do these sorts of things, or I can take this leap of faith, this thing that I feel inside of me. And even though a lot of people are going to question my decision to drop out of school and just go work, I have this feeling inside of me that this is what I should be doing.
Yeah.
And then to look at like all the work that I did and refusing to do it in a way that threw people under the bus or that undercut people or whatever, just to always do it with integrity and to feel like so many times like, oh, it'd be so much easier if I just did it that way because look at all these people succeeding, but refusing, and then to see the fruits of the labor pay off, and for the last 15 plus years to be able to do something that I genuinely love.
Yeah.
It stresses me out to no end, but it stresses me out because I care. You know, like Derek Jeter had this great quote about baseball. He said, the day that I stop getting butterflies walking up into the batter's box is the day that I know that it's time for me to retire because it doesn't matter to me anymore.
Yeah.
And so I know that the reason I get stressed out and the way that I'm meticulous is just because I care about it so much and because I love it. I love being able to share people's stories. I think it is a gift to be able to be trusted by these people in the work that I do to like share their story with the world and to have millions of dollars that are on the line. I realize the responsibility that comes with that. And as you know, Eric, like in this business that there are no guarantees. To be able to say for the last 15 years that I'm a producer, that I get to do that, and I get to work with so many great people like John, you know, and now John is here in our studio. It's like, it's such a gift to do what I do and to know that I love it. And now with what we have built here, that now all these skills that I've gained over the years, I get to put those to use for us to build our own thing and us to tell the stories that we're excited about and to shine a light on other people like Megan and Danielle and Ben and, you know, and to have Chris and to form these relationships. Like it truly is a gift. And I don't take it for granted. And I'm just so darn grateful that I get to say that this is what I do.
Love that.
Yeah.
That's true. I love that. All right. My next one here. I am thankful for the good old US of A. I am extremely thankful to be American and to live in America. And I know that we have a lot of listeners that listen to us all over the world. And this is not a America's better than everywhere else kind of statement. This is just, I love to be American. I don't know if it's the fact that I was born on Flag Day and I've always just felt like really patriotic. Like I've really... I don't know why. I just really, I love America. I know it sounds so lame and cheesy or something, but like I do. I really, whenever we like say prayers as a family, I always am like, I pray for our country. I'm pray that I'm thankful that we live in this country, because as hard as anything is in our lives, the state of the world right now is hard.
Yeah.
And there are bad things happening in the world and in a lot of places. And there are people that are living their lives on whatever side of whatever conflict you might be thinking of right now that are not safe.
Yeah.
They are not safe, and they are not necessarily involved in whatever's happening around them, but they live a life that is not safe for themselves or their kids. And I can't even fathom living a life like that. Yeah. Anytime we're bothered by traffic or gas prices or anything that we complain about here in the States, if you just take a second to go, it could be so much worse. Yeah. And so, again, this is not I'm just glad I'm not living there. It's just that I am glad that I was born in America, because I could have been born in a million other places on this earth, but I was born in America, and I'm very thankful that I got to grow up in peace. I've never had to go to war. I've never had war around me, and so again, I apologize if people are like, America has problems. Yes, America has problems. Every country has problems, but I just feel incredibly blessed to be an American citizen and to be raising my family here in America. And so that's my number 3 is the good old US of A.
Yeah. I mean, there is a lot of gratitude in the peace of mind, right? Yeah. I was just talking to somebody about this the other day. I live in my hometown, where I grew up, and all growing up I was like, I can't wait to get out of here.
Right.
This town is boring. There's nothing to do here. And then I went and lived other places that I enjoyed that experience. I enjoyed living in LA, and I enjoyed living in New York. But when I thought about raising my children and what I wanted them to grow up around, it was stability. It was safety. And so it is a privilege that we have here in the U.S. that so many of us
that we need to be thankful for.
And we need to be thankful for. And to sort of recognize that it is a privilege, and to think more about people elsewhere who weren't born in, and they just have to be born in that country. And they don't want the conflict, and to just put love out into the world and let them know that there are other people in the world, and maybe those people are listening to our show right now, and to hear that people in America care about them.
Absolutely.
And it's not about politics. It's just about humanity. Yeah. And we want this same thing for everybody, I think is really the moral of the story. And I think that connects to my next one, which is, I was thinking about this, as I was putting the list together, and, you touched on it a bit, this idea of there's so much going on in the world, right? And I think there's always been things going on in the world. I think we're just more exposed to it now than we used to be, because there's cameras everywhere, and you can just go online and boom, you can access any horrible thing like that. But what I am grateful for is that even though there is all of this information and shocking stories and imagery that we're exposed to and horrible things that are happening in this world, I am thankful that there are strong and brave voices in the world.
Yeah.
The people in our world who are willing to stand up and to fight against tyranny and hatred and exclusionary sort of practices, because it can be scary.
Yeah.
To, especially now with all the imagery that can be out there, and if you say something on social media or someone captures a video of you saying something, the whole world can see it, and now do you have a target on your back? So I think this idea that there are people who are willing to say, I don't care. What is happening in this situation is not right, and I don't agree with it, and I'm going to stand up and say my piece. Yeah. Obviously on a personal level, when it comes to, disability rights and equity, that there's so many incredible, people from Justin Dart, who was one of the leaders of the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, and even modern day voices that are changing the landscape of what's happening in the world around disability inclusion and disability rights. I think about a friend of mine, Tiffany Yu, who runs an organization called Diversability, which is amazing. I'm just thankful for people who, because it is easy, especially when you grow up in a part of the world where things are good, otherwise, to just be oh, well, do I really want to ruffle feathers? To be willing to say, you know what? I am going to do this, and I don't care how people react, because it's time that this thing changes. Yeah. So for all of you who fought for anything out there in the world that mattered to you, that advanced humanity, and equal rights, and access for everyone. I'm just grateful for all of you. So strong voices and courageous voices. I'm grateful for. Yeah.
I like that. Very good. All right. My number 2 top 5 things I'm thankful for.
Yeah.
Is kind of one that you kind of said, is my career. But I guess more specifically, the fact that I have a passion in my life, and that I'm able to do that passion.
Yeah.
Because I am hyper aware and always have been, which is what has always bothered me about any actors that get kind of self-righteous and, like very self-important, and anything that is like, you need to listen to me because I'm an important person. Anybody that does that, I'm always like, we have the best job as entertainers. Yeah. Like, we get to play, and we're not, I always say, like, I'm not laying brick. I have plenty of friends that I grew up with that are laying brick.
Right.
And I mean that literally. They are construction workers, and they sell insurance, and they work in a factory, 10 hours a day, and have a much, much harder life. Now, are there times where I wish that I had the financial stability of maybe a job that's like laying brick? Yeah. I do. But I'm also hyper aware that to go through life and have a job or career that you may not have a passion for, but you're supporting your family with, that's not a shot on anybody, because that is extremely commendable to do that, and to sometimes swallow a dream that you might have because you know that you have to do something to provide for your family. I've been incredibly blessed enough that I've been able to support a family for 20 years as a professional actor. But I am, like I said, I'm hyper aware of how rare that is, how blessed I am, how lucky I am that things have fallen my way. Do I think that I have a talent? I do. I'm proud of myself. I believe in my abilities, but I also know that so much of this industry is luck and being in the right place at the right time in the right minute to catch someone's eye at just the right way. So I just feel so thankful and blessed that God has put a passion in my heart that I love acting. I love it. I love it so deeply. I think about it all the time. I never get tired of it. I've never had a moment in my life where I've been like, I don't want to act. Like, anytime, given any opportunity to be performing a character and learning a script and a song and stuff like that, always gets my juices going. I always get excited about it. I always feel like my most true self when I'm doing it. I feel like my most yes, this is, I'm not faking anything. Like, my excitement to be walking into a rehearsal hall is genuine every single time. And so I feel incredibly thankful that I have a passion, that I've been given the ability to do that passion, and that I've been lucky enough for that passion to be able to support me and my family for the last 20 years.
Yeah. It's a gift. And I'm sure it's something that so many people out there connect with, whether your passion is cars,
whatever
or,
it is,
they're inventing or drawing, whatever it is, like, to be able to do what you love, to find something you love, and to be able to do it. What a gift. Yeah. All right. Number 2 for me is something that I know we've talked about here on the show before. It's possibly the most personal thing to me. Is modern medicine. With, you talk about wanting to be a dad, right? Mm-hmm. Like, knowing since you were young that, like, this is something that was, like, in your code as a human being, to be like, I am meant to be a dad. Yeah. I'm sure there's no, like, I'm meant to be a mom. Like, you feel there's something in you that says, this is me. Yeah. And that was so much a part of my identity. Being the oldest of 5 and just being from a huge family and working with kids for so long, it was this assumption that I had for a long time that, like, oh, when I'm ready and when I'm responsible and I make that right decision, that financially, my partner and I, we can do this, blah, 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 I'll be a dad, and then to not have it go that way for 3 years and to not know if it would ever go that way. But then to live in a time where we're so fortunate, not just to live in this country that we live in, where we can get access to these things, you know, it costs a lot of money and we got a lot of work to do there. That fertility treatment does exist. And I know that it impacts millions of people all around the world. And I know that we're so fortunate to have access to the care that we got. We're so fortunate that it worked and that it worked the first time. And that the second time we didn't even need fertility treatment, you know, that we had Riley. But I'm just so grateful that this thing that I knew was in me, that I get to do it.
Yeah.
You know, and I look at my kids all the time and I go, God, there was no guarantee that you were even going to be here, you know, but also like, you talk about red lights and green lights. We talked about this on the show, that like if it had happened in the way that I always thought that it would, like Emerson wouldn't be here. Like everything we went through led us to her, to us, and us to her. And, you know, as it pertains to like, you know, her disability, that, you know, that again, with modern medicine, that these procedures have been done so many times, you know, it was so terrifying back in 2021 when she went in for surgery, you know, on her hand. But like the fact that we had seen all this imagery and this doctor was so well educated and had so many colleagues around the world that he could confer with and that we could talk to, that we had access to all these people, and that we knew as parents that we were making the best decision that we could make for her. You know, I think about people who don't have access to that, and I feel for them, you know, because it's a hard enough decision to make when you do have access to the best healthcare, you know, some of the best healthcare in the world. And so I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that I have my kids because of it, and that, you know, my kid has the best chance at, you know, just fully utilizing her body in the way that it's made because of modern medicine. So grateful for that.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That is a good one. It is wild to think about all the different ways that children come or don't come into the world.
Right.
Right. Trying to find the right words here. And to think how much a little turn right or left in your life, you know. Yeah. You know, I think about sometimes like, you know, if I had not accepted that job at the barn, I never would have met Lisa.
Right.
And these two amazing kids, Sophie and Miles, wouldn't exist. And like, that's such a weird thing to think about when I was 19 and sitting in my college off-campus house being like, I don't know, should I go work at the barn in Michigan, or I could go do this job in a riverboat in Iowa. I think I'm going to go to Michigan.
Yeah.
But like, had I taken this other job, I maybe never met Lisa.
Right.
And then like this amazing person, Sophie, and this amazing person, Miles, wouldn't exist. Like, that's so weird to think about that.
I know. I just think it's, you know, the universe, God, whatever you sort of subscribe to. I just feel like, again, it's those, when you're driving and the red lights and the green lights of just like, this is where you need to go, because the bigger plan is that spirit of Miles, that spirit of Emerson and Riley, Sophie, like they want to, it's the ideas, you know, thing of like ideas want to be living, breathing things. And I think their spirits need to be in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. My last one is not nearly as emotional. My last one is nice and joyful. My last one is Christmas coziness.
Ooh, okay.
I am thankful for Christmas music, Christmas lights, fireplaces, balsam tree candles, gingerbread cookies, like all of the things that make what this podcast was essentially born out of.
Yeah.
I'm thankful for those things, you know. This again, I'm making this much more lighthearted on my last one. You know, Danny and I love Christmas, and I think the reason is all of these deep emotional things that we've talked about, but it's also just the the gosh darn coziness of it.
It's so darn
there's
cozy,
something
yeah.
about that hygge feeling. We've talked about hygge before, that sort of Scandinavian term for just coziness, warmth, happiness, cozy warmness is and so that's my number one thing that I'm thankful. Again, those are not in any order. That's just 5 things that I'm thankful for. But my last one is Christmas coziness and all that goes along with it.
You brought it full circle. You brought it back to the show, and the season and why we sit in this room and chat, for hour and a half or whatever it is. Whenever we sit here is like, it almost feels like we are, I don't know, paying our respects, to this thing that we are so grateful for, and hopefully reminding people of, or to be aware of, when there's so much that's trying to draw your attention away from like the good.
Yeah.
That we can remind you of all the good. And that's why we wanted to do this thankful episode, just to remind all of you out there who may be going through great times, maybe going through challenging times, that even though the news may try to convince you a lot of the time that there's nothing good happening out in the world, there is so much good happening in the world, and there's so much good in your life right now if you just sit down and write a list like we did of 5-10 things. Because then what will happen is you'll start realizing like, oh, well, I'm also grateful for this. It's like you're shifting your mentality, and then you're like, I don't know, the sun seems to shine a little bit brighter. The air seems to smell a little bit sweeter. You feel a little taller. So lean into that. I challenge actually everyone, who's listening to this episode to make a list. You don't have to share it with anyone. Yeah. You can just be your own thing that you put together and just remind yourself of things that you're thankful for. And before I share my last, if you guys haven't, rated and reviewed the show, please make sure you do that. You can also watch these episodes on youtube.com/Countdown Network. You can also follow us on all the socials at Christmas Countdown Show. The last one for me is my family, and my chosen family, which are some of my dearest friends in the world. I think prior to the last few years of life, I always just sort of walk through my day to day with this like assumption of like, oh yeah, people will always be there for me. I have all these people that I care about, and maybe to an extent I took for granted, I think maybe how much they loved me and how much they cared about me. And when things got really hard, a couple of years ago, just to be able to call people and to have them show up. And when they would show up, that there was no look of fear on their face. There was no look of fear in their eyes. It was just like, okay, this is what we're going through. And we're going to get through this. I think of all the times that, my wife, Lynn, would sit with me, when I was having panic attacks and stuff, and how she would just help me through those times, just to have that person, those people who don't run away from you, but they lean into you more. That is such a gift, and I think I was priding myself for so many years, my entire life, on being that for other people, that I don't think I fully realized how there were people around me that wanted to be that for me. Yeah. And that is my family. That's my folks. That's my siblings. It's my wife. It's friends like Eric, and so many of my other close friends like Jason and Jeff and Noe, and just people, Mike, who I can be so honest and real with. And that's why I say chosen family, because like you're born into a family, but I think you meet people in life who become like, they become like blood to you, and you would do anything for them and they would do anything for you. And so what I would encourage everybody to do out there is to reach out to those people and to tell them exactly what they mean to you. A moment that you shared, a memory, just the time that they just called and said, I love you. When you went through
just sending a text to people and saying, thinking about you.
Yeah.
Glad you're my friend. Out of the blue. That means so much to people. And sometimes I think that we as people want to say thank you to those people in our lives that have been so influential and helpful, but we're like, well, how do I what's the entry point into that conversation, and I don't want to I don't know if they're ready for it or if they're in the right mood. Just a simple text, thinking about you, glad you're my friend.
Yeah.
That's it. Out of the blue. You do, and they don't even need to respond. They may just like it. Know that that's enough.
Yeah.
That those little touch points will mean something to people.
Yeah. It's Thanksgiving Day right now if you're listening to this on release day. So open up your phone. Think of just 3, 5 people in your life. Could be family, could be friends, colleagues, and just say, hey, I'm thankful for you.
Yep.
And just imagine like the ripple that could create. And then maybe that person texts 5 and 5 and 5. And before you know it, maybe millions of people are texting each other just saying, hey, I'm thankful for you.
Yeah. And then you get a text from somebody that you haven't heard from in like 10 years. And they're like, I'm thankful for you. And you're like, how'd you think
What
to do this?
in
And
the
they're like,
world?
well, so-and-so told me. And they told them. And they told them. And it gets all the way back to you.
Let's do it.
I love it.
I love it.
I love
Oh, man.
This was a good list.
Yeah.
I'm actually this was maybe my favorite one we've done this season.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
thank you everybody for listening to us and hopefully
Crying with us.
crying with us, and hopefully you're having a great Thanksgiving Day. If you're listening to this a day or two after, or even weeks, months, years later, hopefully you're having a great day. And we're thankful for you, all of our listeners who have been with us, whether you were with us from day one out in the garage, or this is your first episode you're checking out. We thank you for spending some time with us. Hopefully we've added a little bit of positivity and joy to your life, and we beseech you to go and do that to those in your circles. Yes. So happy Thanksgiving, and also Merry Christmas.
And happy holidays.
We will see you on the next one. Bye, everybody.
See ya.
Love you.